Imagine a 10-ton monster hurling across the desert, fueled by 2 RAF fighter jet engines with the power of 1,000 family cars. This wasn't just a race, it was a mission to do what physicists said was impossible, to break the sound barrier on land without catastrophically flipping into the air. Led by a bankrupt team sleeping on the floor of a rented house, they faced off against American legends and the lethal heat of the desert. This is the story of the ultimate limit, where a driver pushes a vehicle to 763 miles per hour, traveling faster than his own sound in almost total silence until you hear the sonic boom. Let's just get into it. We'll do a few minutes at a time, a little commentary here and there, and we'll be through in about half an hour. Holler, let me know what you think of the audio levels.
It begins with one man who dreams of doing something that has never been done before.
To produce a car that goes safely supersonic, it's the greatest element of the land speed record I think there ever could be. It's the sub 4 minute mile, you know, in athletic terms. It's the greatest of the lot.
It ends with a 10-ton car hurtling across the American desert at 763 miles per hour. It's traveling faster than its own sound, in almost total silence. Until...
These are the money shots here, just to show you the preview of what's to come. But we're going to dig into the background going on behind the scenes, because it's way more complicated.
This is the inside story of Richard Noble and his mission: to build the fastest car on Earth and break the sound barrier.
So, I mean, look, this could be a poster on, should be the poster on Boy's wall, to be honest. The power of this car, and the machining and the physics and the design and the driving and the weather and everything that was up against them. They got over and achieved this record, and I'm sure there's been other records since then, but who cares? This is all about the 90s. Most of our content's from the 60s to the 90s, by the way, so you won't get any AI generated slop. You won't get any content that's just like just watching video or replaying pop culture stuff. This is all about finding some of those gems and pulling them forward into modern era. What a machine.
It's May, and Richard Noble and his team touch down in Jordan, in the Middle East, for the all-important tests of their Thrust car. Money and time are running out, and they have just 4 weeks to prove to themselves and their sponsors that their extraordinary design actually works.
It's a really great moment. We had crises after crises after crises. But we've done it. We've actually got here. I can't tell you how good it is.
Yeah, of course we got here.
It's taken many years and several £1 million just to get this far. Almost bankrupt, team leader Noble has gambled everything on proving his car is capable of even attempting the sound barrier later in the year.
We've got a number of enormous problems actually coming our way now. Well, the most single important thing is that we get the car up to 600 miles an hour, possibly beyond, but certainly 600 miles an hour. That gives us credibility. That proves that we've got a car and a team and a driver that's a viable contender for, of course, the big battle in America.
Though, to put it into context too, like there's not a lot of places you could do these races in the UK itself. So they're over here in Jordan doing this test, and then later on they're in the Nevada desert.
It's vital they prove their car quickly because they have a rival. American Craig Breedlove, who is ahead in the race. His
I think he needs more
car
branding.
has already got within 100 miles per hour of the sound barrier, a speed the British team can only dream of. But this is dangerous and unknown territory. On Breedlove's last run on the American Black Rock Desert, his car suddenly flipped on its side and careered off course at 670 miles per hour.
It's the American team.
Jesus, God almighty.
Miraculously, it it righted itself again, and Breedlove was unhurt. Now he's rebuilding for the battle with Noble in the autumn.
And he did it again.
While
Like,
Breedlove fixes his car, Noble has won extra time to catch up. But the American desert is now flooded for the summer, so desperate and with nowhere flat enough to test the car, Noble has turned to the local knowledge of his supporters club.
I was here in the army 50 years ago.
okay, so we're just going to skip forward to a little more on the design side of things, not so much on why they've chose the desert to race in. And it's just a spoiler alert, it's not actually a race. They're both like they're both taking turns trying to beat this speed record over and over, as you'll see in a few minutes when we get into more of the race aspect of it. But the design is what I'm really interested
He
in,
ran into Ron
because
Ayres, a retired
because there's actually, you know, opportunity for a lot of engineering and design and development. And what I like to focus on is the practical engineering, they call it, where it's a hands-on, getting your hands dirty, trying things out, testing things, not just, you know, using computers for everything to simulate it and then never building something like, kind of like those, you know, design cars or concept cars that you see in the shows. And you're like, oh, these are amazing when they roll these out, and then they never do. And it's always been disappointing. I remember that as a kid being excited by concept cars. But anyway, they came across a good famous designer.
I said right at the beginning to Richard, this is totally impractical. Don't even try it.
Ayres had a lifetime's experience working on supersonic missiles and luckily had a love of the land speed record.
I only actually carried on working on the project more out of curiosity. If sometime some idiot should try to travel supersonically, what should the car look like?
His revolutionary design was for a 10-ton monster with 2 jet engines, a long thin tail, and a radical wheel arrangement. The great danger is, as the car reaches supersonic speeds, it will catastrophically flip into the air. They needed to test the design. First, they spent weeks on computer simulations, checking if their car would stay on the ground. They found
Minor
a shockwave.
point.
A huge wall of energy would build up in front of the car. Although the computer said the car would survive, Ayres demanded a second, more practical test.
You can see a whole multidisciplinary approach to knowing whether something can be done or not isn't just in someone's head going, oh, this is impractical or it is practical. You can't just stop there. You've got to be able to keep going and then learn how to break it into small steps to slowly increase the test of viability of a project. So take that away and apply that to, you know, other projects you have that maybe seem insurmountable. They can always be broken down into smaller steps, and maybe it takes a decade of trying over and over and over, but at least you can make progress on an idea. And that's what they did by making these little model sleds that they tested it with. Even though we said it was impractical and basically suicidal to even try driving it.
Repeatedly blast a rocket-propelled model of the car down a test track at supersonic speeds.
Quite a long track.
4, 3, 2, 1.
High-speed photography and sensors all over the model should tell them if his design would stay on the ground as it went through the sound barrier.
Just building that kind of a test arrangement alone takes such sophisticated engineering.
It's a gamble. Only if the detailed results of the computer and the model tests matched exactly would they dare to go ahead and build the car.
Scale. I can remember very clearly plotting the results from the computer analysis against the results from the rocket sledge and seeing this amazing correlation. It is the one time in my life I have ever shouted Eureka, because the effect was absolutely dramatic. I really had not expected that 2 such extraordinary experiments, I didn't think either of them could work. The fact that they agreed with each other really implied they had both worked.
Believe the science, right?
To build the real car, they needed real jet engines. Luckily, the RAF had a few they no longer needed.
It's the Air Force in the UK.
This is actually a hell of a moment for us because, of course, as you know, we've been going 2.5 years in computer studies and simulations and so on. And now, today, we're actually going to start running the engines. We're going to make a filthy noise and we're going to see parts of the car work.
Going supersonic is not just a question of design. It needs all Richard Noble's wheeler-dealer skills.
I believe that the government paid something of the order of about $1.5 million for each of them. We paid, well, rather less.
I should hope so.
Yeah, we're just winding back down to 80%, ready for the slam. Roger that. Coming up. Put the headset on. Okay, we're up to idle now. Okay, count me in. Right.
You see how they mount them in a test rig on the ground, and then they can measure everything.
Two of these huge jet engines together on the car will give it more power than 1,000 family saloons put together. But there was one great obstacle to overcome.
One other design challenge, and then we'll move into the action.
10 tons and need huge metal front wheels. Steering them seemed simply impossible. So wheels and brake designer Glyn Boucher came up with the car's most extraordinary and controversial feature.
I decided that the only sensible thing to do was to steer the rear wheels instead. And it actually solved all the problems. It created a set of problems of its own at the back end for steering these wheels, but it solved all the problems with the front wheels. I knew I had to phone up Richard and tell him I'd decided to steer the rear wheels, and I was a bit apprehensive as to what he said. I think he mildly swore. We did approach various learned professors, and I had some extremely hostile reactions to it, because they simply said it wouldn't work. Almost in...
Oh, wait till you see how they test the rear steering concept. It's hilarious.
I felt that we had to build some kind of a demonstration vehicle and drive it at speed and steer by the rear wheels on the front. So my brother-in-law and myself built the rear wheel steered Mini based on his old Mini, 30 years old, and we built it such that the wheel planform of the Mini is a proper scaled version of the full-size jet car. It corners quite well.
Anyway, we'll leave that one there, the design stuff there, and get it, we'll jump ahead to the first test run here in a few minutes. Yeah, so, oh yeah, it's actually really quick here.
All stations, SSC is armed.
For the video, run 25, looking for 110 mile an hour peak indicated, and then braking 0.25 at G2, a stop, max mil.
SSC, you're clear to roll.
You are clear to roll.
Yeah.
This will be the first time they've used the rear steering, of course. They've used, well, first time anything, probably.
The big question in everyone's mind is, will the rear wheel steering work as the speeds go up?
Dog from pit station, do you anticipate another run today, over?
Negative, by the time we play with the car it's going to be too hot.
Roger.
Even at these low speeds, Noble is worried. He goes to look at the tracks the car has left on the desert.
Well,
This is really interesting.
We're not going very fast. We're going about 100, 110 miles an hour. And you can see that something has happened to the surface here. You can see there's a very slight sort of convex bulge there. Very, very slight. And it's only a matter of an inch or so. And what has happened is the car's come across this, and it's taken off from about the front wheels here, taken off from about there, and they've started to land somewhere about here. So it's about a sort of
Went through the air,
sort of 6 foot
basically.
distance where the wheel has flown. It's not very high. I mean, it's maybe a few millimeters off the deck. That's actually what's happened.
And with a car that's rear wheel steer, it depends on its front wheels to actually get good lateral grip that way. So if the front wheels are in the air, then you've lost out on your grip.
There are 6 cameras on board the car to record every aspect of each run. And there's bad news from the camera looking at one of the rear wheels. The bumps on the surface of the desert are making the rear wheels twist. If they reach 600 miles per hour, it could be fatal.
When you said yeah, moved up.
It's crazy, having the real-time cameras on the wheels and everything.
It's happened. And I'm a little bit angry, but that's not a bad thing, because we want it to work. And if it didn't have emotion in it, then we were.
They do find a fix for it, and then let's look at another run.
SSC engine start.
So I just want to see it start up.
Andy Green tries the modified SSC once again at just 140 miles per hour.
Thank you, SSC rolling. Car starts to creep forward.
Yeah, and it's not so much like a modern jet airplane, like a jumbo jet or whatever, where you can just pull back on the throttle whenever you want. They want to go so fast that it's almost like a rocket where you're just pressing the button and holding on and steering.
The car performs much better, and Green can now take the speed up. But first, he would need to paint himself a racetrack.
Okay, we'll zip ahead to another part just to show the other challenges that they had. One other challenge.
Nearly 35 feet away before there's any more contact, and the car was actually completely airborne here. It's got no contact with the ground whatsoever. All 4 wheels are off the deck.
The car, when Glyn and I 4.5 years ago started designing it, was aimed at Black Rock Desert in Nevada, which is a softer surface and a smoother surface. We've done a lot of adapting to the design to make it cope with this surface. If we'd known it was going to be like this, well, then perhaps we would have designed it differently from scratch anyway.
But one of the problems they're having is I think they go into it now. There's no suspension on this.
Fears that the rough desert may destroy the car. The team are determined to push on.
So they have to figure out whether to repair it here in the desert, or you know, to do it somewhere else, or take it home, I guess. Well, let's just see they got a couple sponsors.
Into the unknown.
So they're really going to push this one to the limit.
It's now not just about research. There's much more at stake.
Everybody in the team is responsible for his life, because if anything does go wrong, how do you think the rest of us are going to feel? Because we've all had something to do with it. No one.
It's been years in the making too.
Now focus. Looking for max. 220. Shitload of dust coming from the right hand side. 300. Sweet steering. Max burner.
No 4K cameras.
500 indicated. Now getting back to the right hand side. That was the mile 4 tracks. Not totally surprised. 430. Copied. Fucking great dust storm in the cockpit.
Suddenly, at 540 miles per hour, Green struggles to control the car.
Come on, asshole! Stop babbling the stick. Looking for brakes.
Something has gone terribly wrong.
Shut down, very bumpy at this stage.
If you watch this one gauge going up and down, it's not necessarily what you usually want to see.
You want a member of the AA? I think we might need recovery.
60 miles an hour short of their goal, there's been a major suspension failure. On both wheels, a main mounting is broken.
Okay, so that's the suspension failure. They have to figure out what they're going to do, and then let's switch over to the actual when they end up in the U.S. Ironically, they they didn't have the money to really get to the U.S. They had to sell off a whole bunch of their extra parts and things like that to get there, and then they had their own challenges once they're there.
First, he'll try to beat Noble's 15-year record before attempting the ultimate, the sound barrier.
It's tremendously
Actually, we're going to zip forward to a little later because I don't want it to take too much longer. But during this run, they have
Stations SSC rolling.
a full-on failure. And they're really in a time crunch as well, because each team has a certain number of hours that they're able to test.
Today should be their first run.
So it's really stressful.
Miles per hour, using the full power of the afterburners, which guzzle fuel at 4 gallons a second.
450, looking for 550. 500. Using it back.
But at 624 miles an hour, one of the computers which control the car suddenly crashes.
Pump shut down, we've got a problem here. Abort.
Indications are that comp 1 is down. I say again, indications comp 1 is down.
56 degrees, right, steering.
For Andy Green, it's back to HQ to review the tapes with squadron leader Jane Millington.
What made me say comp 1's gone down?
They try to figure out why the computer has crashed, but no one can find the answer.
What made me diagnose it's comp 1 there?
Pit station SSC require telemetry's attention at the earliest available.
I can't remember what they did to fix the computer stuff.
In
But
turn, the Black Rock Saloon is keeping score. The British are drawing further ahead.
That's pretty amazing.
Clear to roll. Rock and roll SSC. Bricks off.
All stations SSC is rolling.
It looks like something of Mad Max, to be honest, especially out in the desert.
The next day, it's the same story. Another computer crash.
Whoa. Yeah. SSC is shut down with an abort fire. Uncommanded.
Andy just radioed that SSC is aborted at mile 4, and Richard just heard that we're towing back, that the second run's been cancelled.
Isn't that a beauty? You got some nice lighting there and everything.
SC copied, car has stopped. All stations, the car has stopped.
No, it's crashed.
Nobody wants computers on their vehicle.
Give up, man. I don't know.
No, don't give up. Just try something different.
I'm just going to zoom forward a little bit because I was trying to see what their solution was. And then we'll go to the actual final recording of the final records.
It only failed.
It's got to be something we're not doing in the workshop then. Something we're not simulating. Comp 1 is down again. Which means we can't run. Got to get it fixed. So we're going to make it again? Yeah.
Pain in the ass. There is, unfortunately, an intermittent fault on one of the onboard computers. It shuts itself down at about the same speed every time, about 540 miles an hour. It seems to shut itself down. If the computer shuts down, it goes into fail-safe mode and shuts the car down effectively.
Oh, I hope the Americans had an alibi.
Tight, the car goes into the workshop for a complete overhaul. The team are growing weary.
So what they end up doing is they end up doing an overhaul, fixing stuff, upgrading software and stuff. But they're under such a stress to these tests within their time period that they've been allotted, during daylight and during certain weather conditions, that the stress is just through the roof. But this is a good example of the kind of engineering and test piloting that really built a lot of our economy. And built a lot of the innovation that we take for granted today. We got a video on test pilots, and Chuck Yeager and a couple others. So there's a whole video just on that. And really, that's the only way that you can do is push the limit, try not to blow up and die, and learn the lessons and take away and build the next iteration. That's how we can fly so safely today around the world in just a few hours. So let's just jump ahead to some of the final runs. There's a lot of drama going on because they're trying to figure things out. I should note the British team were so poor that they slept on mattresses on the floor of a house rental because there was only one motel in town, and still were able to pull this off. Let's look at this final run. I think it's right over here.
It's also
on the ragged edge stability at 600.
Yeah, but it's also a question of what speed you'd be doing when you get onto this.
Go watch the. I speed it up now and then, but you can see the full thing, obviously.
Yeah, sure, but the load bearing here is fine. But bloody hell, you can run something on there.
Let's just go ahead. Just want to go ahead to the actual.
Stationary, stationary, stationary. SSC is rolling.
Within burner. Didn't get it. Looking for it again. Sod off. Got on that time. Now looking for max. $300, $400, sorry. 450. 500, wait for it to kick left. Through it.
Crazy to consider that it's manual steering on it too, right? And for latecomers, that's manual rear steering. Got these offset wheels on the back. That's all the control they have.
Shoot one. Bastard, nothing. Shoot two. Recycle. Shoot one. Shoot two. Engines off at 400. Bastard, fuck, bastard, shoots.
Both parachutes fail, and the car is beginning to overshoot.
SSC, negative shoots, going long.
SSC copied, negative shoot, recovery, overrun.
They'll have to turn around in less than an hour, and both runs need to be an average of over 760 miles an hour.
Okay, mile 764.168.
There we go.
But the speed of sound varies. It has to be above Mach 1.
Okay, and the provisional Mach number, I'm still working on that.
Oh, come on, Petroli!
They're going for it.
I don't know where you go from here once you hit these records. You know, do you just go, great, we did it.
The car has
and
overshot
move on
by
with
more than
life.
a mile. It'll take nearly 20 minutes to tow it back to the start. They're going to have to turn around faster than they've ever done it before to get back within the hour.
So they did break the sound barrier there. You could hear it, but they didn't get the full-on measurements that the you know, record keepers needed, I guess. Yeah, I come here for some optimism, right, Eddie?
Mid-station, this is USAC time.
Actually, we were all promised jet cars by now, so.
Run was 1.007.
So that was over Mach 1. So they did.
That's it, you're on.
So they did verify.
I'll take you around to the refueling position.
But I'm not sure what. Actually, they didn't. I'm not sure what they missed here. But they're going to do one more run.
Copied. All stations stand by. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes to roll. How many? 2
minutes to roll. Mallet from Fire Chase. Dog. What? 4 months bottom, these ones are going.
Who needs those rivets anyway?
Happy to run with it like that.
So am I, because the lead engine's right, so.
Yeah, okay, let's do it then.
Put some zip ties through there, right? A little crazy glue.
It's Monday 13th, we've got about 1.5 minutes to get this car rolling, or we're out of time. Possibly only 1 minute. As soon as Nick appears, I'm going to go for it.
I'm not sure what the time constraints were there, but it was like within a certain period of time they had to do. It sounds like they made it so it was like you could do one run, but the parachutes didn't work perfectly. Then you wouldn't stop fast enough, and then they'd have to tow them further to get them started again. So it's like kind of like, when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
No choice. Looking for Mill.
It's interesting how much it can move without having any afterburners going.
That's good, looking for Max. Now focus. Max burn at 300. Lost the line.
Crazy how quiet it is in the cockpit.
400. 500, stand by for it to go left. There it goes.
It's just barely touching the ground too, right?
He comes back even faster. Shockwaves appear just above the car.
Can't quite see the shockwaves in that video, unfortunately.
150 for brakes.
Yeah, they literally were running afterburners on it.
Everything depends on whether they've turned around within the hour.
Pit station SSC, the car is stopped.
SC copied. All stations, SSC has stopped.
You're safe, Andy. You're safe. Safe.
SC copied. All stations, SSC is safe.
Safe.
Pit station, this is USAC timing.
USAC timing, can you confirm that run was within the hour? Over.
Unfortunately, I cannot do that. You missed it by about a minute.
No, no.
They're ready to copy speed and read back.
Fucking seconds.
Come on, guys, get the lead out. They'll do great. Again, I'm not quite clear on the time constraint thing here, but what matters was the result, really.
Now, after every run, the car needs more and more repairs.
Oh, I think that's more what they're also concerned about.
No one knows how much more it can take.
I think they get another run here.
Shockwaves, though, isn't it? Yeah. This is...
Look at the sunburn. No, so they don't even give them any results there, or they just edited it out to keep us in suspense.
I have a nasty feeling that if these parachutes don't work this time, I think somebody might be looking for a rail and a barrel of tar and some feathers. They'll be run out of town.
This is their final run.
I would say that was fast. 450, shoot one. We got it. Everything is going to be wonderful. SSC, the car is stopped, mile 13.5.
They got a replay here, they'll show.
Standby, SSC has stopped mile 13.5.
Power's on. Let's get air conditioning in here just in case.
Yesterday's turnaround team are now waiting at the receiving end.
Don't really want it to end, do you? Really?
No.
Oh, I think they had to do a certain number of... They average out the time, and they average out the speed over multiple iterations. So they just kind of, I think that last one they just lost one of their data points, so they couldn't include it in the summary. I think.
Being a hairdresser.
Come on. Good job, because you're useless as a singer.
Thanks, man.
Not a problem, anytime.
They want some shelf stickers at Tesco's, don't they?
Yeah.
They should probably pull up a documentary on the American team as well. See how they were faring.
Wouldn't do a 9 to 5 job.
Do 10 till 3.
I mean, as funny as they're just joking around, not being able to get a real job after this. Where'd the audio go?
All right, Craig, mate. Good to see you, mate. That's all right.
You know, as funny as that is, the reality that these are a different breed of men pushing the limit, right?
Quicker than I'd like. Gauge is staying on this one.
Oh, so they get to do 2 runs a day, it looks like. Is that what's happened? I'm missing something. And where'd my audio go? Come on. You can do it. Oh no, it's not me. It's the video. Okay.
66. It's the second run on Wednesday the 15th of October, looking for return run within 1 hour.
Copy, 2 minutes to run.
All stations stand by, 2 minutes to run, 2 minutes to run.
Oh, I think maybe the poster is filtered out some proprietary audio or some copyrighted music. That's probably what's happening.
Is ready to roll.
It's not me.
SSC with far chase rolling, clear supersonic. Clear supersonic.
He's rolling.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I got to figure out they had the option within a 1 hour time period to do multiple runs and then take the average of the speeds. I kind of like the views from the cockpit, although it looks so awesome from outside. They should combine the audio of the cockpit with the outside view. Listen carefully. Shh.
Get going! Go! Go! Go!
Woohoo! I didn't know. Why did I miss that there was no audio at these parts? Driving me crazy. But obviously, much rejoicing and much records. And the end result was 763 miles per hour, Mach 1.02. Yeah, I don't know where they go from here. Oh, I guess that's the end of the video. Well, thanks to Chris Gregory for posting that. Check out the full length video on there. It's actually a 2-part BBC documentary. Also check out, I got the Exploring the World and Pushing the Limits playlist, which has a bunch of the source videos I've used in other videos, as well as the ones you can see with my titles on them. We've got one about train tunnel building. We've got one about energy turbines. We've got, oh yeah, the right stuff. The day a man became a missile. Chuck Yeager getting dropped from an airplane as a rocket, and pilots from World War I and II. Oh yeah, first diesel super train, engineering the Zephyr, which you've probably heard of before, but maybe you don't quite know what it was. And then yesterday we dropped the extreme underwater scuba diving and how Jacques Cousteau and his team in the 60s changed the way that we view the ocean. So today's modern ecologically minded ocean perspective is based on the work that they did. And I think we'll leave it at that.